guys, I'm going to put together a little tape to say hi to all my friends, my family, students, people I work with. So stay with me. We're going to put together a tape, show you a little bit about what life is like here in Baden, some of the things I've been up to since I've been here, and some of the fun that we've been having since I've arrived here in Germany. So I'm going to show you some tapes that have been produced for other occasions, but hopefully it'll give you an idea of what I've been up to. I've been having a great time so far. Been meeting all kinds of new people and traveling to lots of new places. So I hope to show you a little bit about my life here at school, where I live, and some of the fun things that I've been doing. So stay tuned on the tape. Okay, here we are at one of the more frequented border crossings here between Germany and France, and as you can tell, they really check you carefully when you go across the border here between the two countries. You can see that guy, he didn't have to stop at all, but go across to France very often for dinner. It's only about 10 k's away, and have a lot of fun over in France. Besides, I can even understand what's going on over there. Well, I guess one of the things about living in Germany that's a lot different than Canada is the fact that you have major riverways that are transporting a lot of goods. So we come down here to the Rhine and watch some of the action on the canal as they work on the locks. We've been up and down the Rhine quite a bit. We call life over here Disneyland on the Rhine because there's so many things to do. We're really close to Strasbourg, France, and it takes about 20 minutes to go there. An hour and a half to drive to Switzerland. You know, so all of those aspects of living over here are great. Just in a couple of hours you can be in a different country. Yesterday, for example, I went on a wine tour up to the Moselle River area. We sampled some wine from the area, which has become quite a favorite pastime of mine. And we actually had to drive through France, Luxembourg, and back into Germany in order to get there. So see that you're really close to a lot of different things, and the possibilities here are endless. Quite a bit different than Canada. There's still lots of things that I miss in Canada, but I must say that while I'm here, I'm going to have the best time that I possibly can. Approaching the thriving metropolis, that big center, downtown Hügelsheim. Population 7,000. German population about 3,500. Canadian population also 3,500. Don't blink, you're now on one of the main streets of Hügelsheim. No traffic lights, all the houses look the same. This is small town suburbia. See lots of nice cars around here, lots of Canadian license plates, lots of Canadians. Everyone speaks either lots of English here or lots of German, but you don't have to know much German in this town to get by. So, come up to the big metropolis of downtown Hügi, the only traffic light. Okay, these mounds of dirt that you see right here behind you are not a tractor that's plowed up a field. This is Spargel. Spargel is the German word for asparagus. And this is where they pay big money, $25, $30 just to come and have a plate of these things at this time of year. So Hugelsheim comes alive with the Spargelfest. They have a festival here for absolutely everything. Wine Fest, Asparagus Festival, Prune Festival, Oktoberfest, which you've all heard about. Germans go nuts when they have these festivals. The rest of the time, they're quite reserved, quite quiet. Right where I'm standing here is located halfway in between the town of Hugelsheim, which is directly in front of me, and then right behind me over here you'll see later on the other tape that I prepared for incoming teachers, the school. And I'm going to show you part of that tape just a little bit later on. But you can see that in the whole complex, the elementary school is there, plus the senior school. The apartments behind are made for military personnel who actually live on the base. Okay, here we are, the world-famous German Autobahn. This is where your stress level goes up about 47 notches because you're driving down this thing at 180 kilometers an hour some days, and you don't even want to go that fast. If you don't, some German's going to ride up right behind you and flash his lights. So you get used to driving this quickly on the Autobahn, and you can get to a lot of places in a hurry. Some days the traffic is phenomenal though, and you can get caught in what's called the ever-famous German Stau, or traffic jam. My record Stau is 7.5 hours. We actually got to sit on the Autobahn without moving for 6 of those hours, where I played with my Canadian football. This was quite a tourist attraction to all the people that were there, but soon we had 4 or 5 lanes of cars playing Canadian football on the Autobahn while we waited in a traffic jam. So it's very efficient, but it's certainly not a place to come for a sightseeing holiday. A shot like this is rare in Germany because they don't usually let the cows out of the barn. But even when they do, you can see they don't look like anything like Canadian beef, nor do they taste anything like them either. It's a big day when the Canadian grocery store gets Canadian beef shipped in for the week. You buy it in a hurry and you put it in your freezer, because other than that you can't chew any of the beef over here. Well, where I live is a ways away from the base. It's about 15 or 20 kilometers away from the base, and it's out in the hills of the Black Forest. And you can see just behind me right now, you see a church tower, which is one of the first villages that I encountered, called Sinsheim. And Sinsheim is just at the base of the hills leading into the Black Forest. Right above Sinsheim, at the top of the hill, you see a communications tower for the city of Baden-Baden. Baden-Baden is actually hidden in between the valley amongst the 2 hills. And unfortunately, it's a rather hazy day today, but if you look over to the next peaks, you can see just the peak of a castle sticking out on one of the peaks over there. I live actually in the next valley, about 1/3 or halfway up the mountain in the vineyards, and that's where we're going to go next on the video. Just show you some of the towns and some of the vineyards, and we'll actually take a look at where I live. And we might use some tape that was shot for another people that used to live in my apartment that was shot on a little bit better days. So there'll be another person giving you an explanation about everything that they're seeing there, but I think it'll give you a good idea of what a small German village is like and what it's like living on the edge of the Black Forest. Well, you spend a lot of time waiting for trains to go by here in Europe. Cyclists and cars have to wait all the time. It's a great way to get around though if you don't like to drive. Village.
Oh, start again.
Okay, we're in the village of Steinbach, and this is the next village to where I live. I live in the village of Athental, or Eisental, And this is really one of the most prettiest villages that you'll see along here. Just in a little longer, there'll be flowers out along the canal way here. And there's still a few Canadians that live out here, but not too many. This is basically a German-speaking community. And a lot of people here are working in larger centers, but they're also hobby wine farmers. And in our next few shots, we'll be taking you up into the vineyards around the Steinbach area, just so you can see what the vineyards look like. Okay, we're in the next village, which is Neuweier. Neuweier is very famous for wine production in this area. It's one of the major aspects. We're now going the village. We're now turning right, going into Eisenthal, and in a couple of minutes we'll be in beautiful Eisenthal. Great restaurant here, Zoom Altstadt. Very good gourmet restaurant. Anyone comes to visit me, I'd be happy to take you there. Try some great German cuisine. As you can see, the roads are pretty windy. One of the things that I miss most about Canada is probably the wide open spaces and getting away from all the crowded people and production. And it's very rare. I'm one of the lucky people that I can live at least up above the crowds a bit, but you can only go for 1 or 2 kilometers and you're into another village. It's not like in Canada where you have hundreds of miles of open space. So you just take a look around and have a look at some of the vineyards. We're now getting into one of the more wide open vineyard spots, and we're going to pull in here and have a stop just before we get to Eisenthal, so that it'll give you a good panoramic view of what everything looks like. Well, one of the things that coming over here you have a great advantages is tax-free status. As a result, you can afford to do a few things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. And one of them is your car. It's pretty yuppie, I know, but I couldn't resist. It's a BMW 528i. Not brand new, but it still goes pretty fast. It's a car that I wouldn't be able to afford in a million years if I lived in Canada. But a used one is very well maintained. The Germans are fanatics about maintaining their cars. So here it is. It's pretty nice on the Autobahn, sunroof, stereo, power, everything. So I'm enjoying it. And we just parked up here in the vineyards right at the base of the Black Forest. We showed you not too long ago a view of what things were like. And you can see the wine is already starting to, the vines are already starting to grow, and it's really going to be a good year. 89 was one of the all-time best years, and they're predicting the 1990 is going to be even better yet. If you look up here again, it's still a bit hazy, but you can see the castle that I pointed out to you before. And my house is about the same distance in the other direction. So we'll take you there next, and I'll show you around my house a little bit, and hopefully give you an idea what it's like, because I'm really hoping that people will come and visit me and I can show you on first hand what it's like here. I think that you'd really enjoy Germany, especially it's got a lot to offer, and even if you don't speak any German, I'd encourage you to stop by here if you're coming on holiday, and I'd be happy to see you. Eisenthal, here we come. Nestled in one of the valleys here, and I live on actually the other side of Eisenthal, but it's a very small community of about 1,200 people. Most people, as I mentioned before, that live out here have other jobs in the city, but they harvest or work the grapes part-time, and it's an extra source of income. This village has been around for well over 900 years, so it has a long history, and you can be seen by some of the buildings. A lot of the buildings are very well maintained, but there are lots of older ones too, but they tend to just tear them down and start over again. It's quite picturesque. You can see lots of flowers here. The spring flowers are almost finished, but soon we'll be getting into the summer flowers. This is the main downtown part, and we're going to go down through the church. Off to the right here is my bank, and we have the Rat House, which is the City Hall, and then we continue on down to the one of the wine cooperatives that are here, and they actually have a big wine press out here that was used at one time for crushing the grapes, and that's just here to the right, and hopefully you can get a good glimpse of that. They don't use that anymore, but of course it's all automated. But down here they actually close off all the streets here and have a giant wine festival at in September sometime, and the whole town really shakes. Now the rest of the time it's a pretty sleepy affair. The Germans are great walkers, and they enjoy going out for walks. Sunday afternoons they'll visit the graveyard, or they'll go up and actually visit the hills just a little bit to see what the fresh air is like. Pollution here is quite bad. It took a while for me to get used to that, and it affected your lungs a little bit in the beginning, but a couple trips to the old baths at Baden, and you know, you can get rid of all that gunk out of your lungs, and makes you feel a lot better, let me tell you. Especially if you've also been out and had a few too many schnapses or German beers the night before. That'll also fix you up in a bit. Okay,
Excuse me, we need a little aside from the camera person here. They don't pave their roads very well here, so it's a rather rocky, bumpy road. Now you can continue.
Okay, well, yes, it's not smooth, but at least you'll get an idea of what things look like. Okay, now to get to my house, you actually have to drive through the vineyards here, and the vineyards are all paved. It's very well organized here. All the roads are paved amongst the vineyards, and this is paid for by the farmers in Germany. They do that in order to be able to better manage the crops when there's rain. So they spend a lot of money on them, but there's a lot of money to be made. It's incredible. I know that my cleaning lady at the school who cleans my classroom owns a spargo field, and she bought herself a Mercedes-Benz just based on the harvest of one crop of spargles, and she just does that on the side. And she cleans my classroom for fun, I guess. I don't know. And but there's a great deal of money to be made in any event. So we are just going to round the corner here, and you will be at Mein Hause. And here is the hotel next door to my place, and then you have the hotel under construction. And we'll stop the tape here in a minute and talk about. I'll show you where I live. Okay, 56 Affenthalerstraße, wo ich wohne in Deutschland. Das ist mein Hause hier. Das ist ein schönes Hause, aber das ist ein schönes Haus. It's a nice house anyway. I'm stuck for a few German words. But the staircase is kind of interesting, especially when you've been out late at night and you have to go up the dark stairway. It takes you have to stumble up here in the dark, but it's a nice place because you'll see in a minute you have a great view. And wow, I made it to the top. It's a long climb every day, especially when you have your groceries. Have you ever tried to carry 12 bags of groceries in one trip up a staircase like that? But it's worth it because if you look out just beyond here, you can see what a great view you have of the Rhine Valley. We're looking off in the vineyards towards the west, and actually you're into the Rhine Valley, and then actually into France. So you can see that for quite a long way some really spectacular sunsets out here. Really can see the seasons change with the leaves in the fall are quite fantastic, as well as the flowers in the spring, which start as early as the end of January, beginning of February. So much like a coastal climate, living out Vancouver way. So come on in, and oh, here's Renat.
I thought so would you speak on the radio. Don't take me, I'm not a witch.
This is Renat. She lives upstairs. She speaks great English, which saves me.
He doesn't stop speaking. Is he on the radio or what?
No, we're filming. We're filming. This is a letter that I'm sending home to my friends in Canada.
Not now. I'm so ugly at the moment. Don't do it.
I'll figure out which key I got here. Come on into chez moi. Pretty dark in here. I don't know whether anything will show up or not. I might have to reset the camera here in a minute. Okay, we're in my kitchen right now, and this is my junk bulletin board. And here are some of the beautiful things that have been sent to me, you know, like a beautiful moose from Darren Lund. There's my flag that was given to me by Jennifer Ferrand when I left Central. Thanks, Jennifer, it's there. Here are a few of my crazy friends that have got pictures up on the wall. So, you know, things like that make me feel a little closer to home. This is my kitchen. Couldn't swing a dead cat around in it, but the most important spot is the little old wine shelf here. And that's all wine next to it, and I have another room full of wine. I seem to be buying a lot of that these days. Not a lot of cupboards, as you can see. Get around here. I have a big fridge, so I'm pretty lucky. And you know, your basic dishwasher, sink, microwave, coffee maker, stove. Looks like any other kitchen you might see in Canada, but it's about half the size, and so are the appliances. Okay, this is it. The latest tax-free purchase. The new stereo system. No more rude jokes about my outdated, antiquated stereo, all you bimbos back in Red Deer. This is it. New Pioneer, completely loaded, every gadget that you could possibly imagine, every whistle light that you could ask for. I've got it. I haven't figured out how it all works yet, but having a great time. Well, rest of the place, well, basic furniture package. You know, here I'll just show you a shot of me sitting in an F-18. Here's another shot of Budapest that I have on the wall. This is the basic male bonding weekend over here, gentleman's hike to Switzerland. The rest of the place, well, old furniture, but not too bad. Quite livable, fairly comfortable. So it's got mainly tile floor. Heating's really expensive here, so is electricity. So that's my German TV, black and white, can only receive German signals. I practice my German once in a while with it. Here you have a basic dining room. Little artwork I picked up in Berlin. Basic bedroom in here, pretty small, but adequate. Comes in from the living room. It's kind of a weird setup because I have a walk-in closet where I keep my freezer and hang my clothes. And this is the spare bedroom. I don't know if you can see anything. The light's kind of low, but this is where all you guys would stay when you come to visit.